Welcome, everyone, and happy Sunday evening. Welcome to this week's episode of the Fitness. I was going to say Fitness Friday. Good grief, I'm all over the place. Welcome to the Sunday segment on Swagger Magazine. This is Beverly Johnson, owner of Genesis Fitness, located here in Huntsville, Alabama. And as always, I get to hang out with you for a few minutes today to talk about the topic of the week. And today's health topic will focus on the thing that's on everybody's mind right now. Not that. Not that either. I know, carbs. Yes, the thing that has been keeping you up every night. The topic of carbs. Yes, I know many sleepless nights. You waking up in the middle of the night around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and go, what about carbs? Should I have carbs? Should I not have carbs? Are they good for me? Are they bad for me? I know the topic of carbs has kept you awake many a night. I know. Yes, I'm kidding. If carbs has kept you up in the middle of the night, we need to talk. But really, when we talk about the sense of carbs, there's a lot of confusion around it because there are some diets that will advocate that do not intake carbs, and there are others that may say carb it out. And so a lot of times you don't know what's the best avenue of approach for you and your livelihood. And so sometimes for me, when I get totally inundated with information, what I end up doing is just throwing it all away because it's easy to get overwhelmed. We're in a space of being surrounded by information overload, where there is so much information being dispersed right now that it's difficult to ferret out what you need and what you don't need. And so, in an instance when you have so much information being thrown your way, it is natural and automatic for you, or I'll say for me also, that I just tune it all out because after a while, when you have so much chatter in your ear and so much misinformation or disinformation, you don't know what to do because we're in a space that it's easy to be around people and go, well, I heard that I shouldn't do this. Well, a certain movie star is doing this. This celebrity is doing that. And so by proxy, you figure if it works for celebrity Q, it will work for you too. And sometimes you will go on the pattern of following what celebrity Q does, but not knowing celebrity Q has access to personal chefs. Celebrity Q has access to nutritionists. She or he has a personal trainer. She or he has, because of their resources, they have access to things that we may not necessarily have. Where I don't have a nutritionist or a personal chef on deck that's going to come to the house in about 30 minutes and prepare dinner for me. And it's going to make sure I have all the nutrients and macros and everything I'm supposed to have. If you're in that space, please have them call me because I need a personal chef. But normally in our walk, we don't have a personal chef that's going to come in here and meal prep for the whole week. I don't have a dietitian on hand that's going to tell me everything that I need to do down to the gram of what I'm supposed to have. And so in our normal walk, we have to do the work to try to figure out what we need to do and how to best minimize eating a lot of the bad things. And so when we talk about carbs, carbs are normally broken down into three categories, and that is sugars. And so when you see in the store sugars that end in the word oat, OCE, that's your indicator that is sugar. So if you see glucose, fructose, sucrose, that's your indicator that that is sugar. So if you see something that says it's, especially like fruit juices and something, and you see fructose on the end, that means that's a sugar. If it has sucrose, glucose, think about your glucose levels with diabetes. Your other carb is a starch, and that's eventually broken down into glucose into your digestive system. And the other source of carbs is your fiber. And normally your body doesn't digest fiber. but it's good for your digestive system. That's why you always hear people, if you go to the doctor and they give you your checkup and they'll tell you as you get older, you need more fiber in your diet because the fiber is what puts the good bacteria in your system and helps flush life out. And so when you're looking at carbs, we oftentimes reduce carbs down to just bread. And carbs is most times is more than bread. So as we just said, carbs can be your sugars, your starches, and your fibers. And it's one of the things that you need to have in your diet. Now, what normally happens is that when we hear the carb debate, as I just said, we often reduce carbs down to just bread. And so we'll say, oh, I can't have bread because that's loaded with carbs. But then we'll turn around and drink something full of sugar. Or we'll turn around and we'll eat something like a fried food, or we'll eat something that has no nutritional value. But you've sworn off bread. So you can see that to navigate the carb world is not always easy and is not always cut and dry. And so when we talk about in the struggle of carbs, there's your whole carb versus your refined carb. So that's when we get into the discussion of a good carb versus a bad carb. And if you don't know, carb is short for carbohydrates. And so when we talk about a whole carb, not only the good ones, it is an unprocessed and contain fiber found naturally in the food. And with a refined carb, you will normally see that it has been processed and its natural fiber has been removed or changed. So when we look at a whole carb, that's normally something that's still in its most natural state. So when we talk about a whole carb, we're normally hovering around in the fruit or the produce area because you will see it where it's more closely in its whole state and it hasn't been processed. And so you hover around, like I said, the fruit section, the produce section, and you'll see that in your vegetables, quinoa, barley, legumes, potatoes, whole grains. These are things that have the nutrients in it that you will need and give you the fiber that you need. As our elders, with all elders and ancestors always say, that's that stuff that stick to your ribs. If you ever been to your grandparents' house, big mom house, and they always give you that big plate of food, and they said, this will stick to your ribs. What they were saying is that this is something that will be filling for you. This is going to give you the nutrients that you need to sustain. It's going to be the energy that you need. Because let's juxtapose that with your refined carbs. And with your refined carbs, like I said, all the good stuff has been processed out. And so when you look at the refined carbs, this is what we always hear when people say they're trying to get carbs out of their diet. These are the carbs most people are, I won't say insinuating, but this is what you normally hear when people say, I'm getting the carbs out of my life. And so those are the the sugar sweetened beverages, like your sodas, those type things, the white bread, pastries, and sometimes items made with white flour. So when you in that space and you're saying, I'm cutting carbs out my diet, normally this is the capacity that people are referring to saying that I'm removing carbs out my diet. Not the vegetables, not the grains, not the barleys and the beans and stuff. But when we're saying we're cutting carbs, this is the area that I would encourage you to look at removing from your diet. The sugar sweetened drinks, the white bread, the pastries, items made with white flour. Because refined carbs tend to cause spikes in your blood sugar levels, which leads to a subsequent crash that can lead to hunger and food cravings. Oftentimes, if you're working in an office environment, this is when we often talk about you're hitting a wall. This is when that after lunch crash hits. That if you had a lunch where it had, you went to a fast food place and you had a burger or chicken tenders or something and the fries, you had something that had limited nutritional value. And so true to form, as the time of the day goes on, you end up in a space where you hit that slump. Normally around between 2:30 and 3:30 is where you hit that crash. And so that's normally when you'll find everybody making their way like little zombies to the vending machines, because it's at that time where your blood sugar starts spiking. There starts dipping. And so, like Sophia Petrillo says, picture it. You're at work. You're in a meeting around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and you want to pay attention. You want to have all your energy. You want to seem like you're the best employee. But as the meeting wanes on, you feel your energy level drop. And as you feel your energy level dropping, you feel your attention span dropping. And it's not because you're not interested in the meeting. It's not because the topic is just super boring. It is because you're hitting the wall. You're going into your crash because whatever you had for lunch, if it was the refined carbs, also known as empty calories, you're feeling your blood sugar level drop. And so just like true to form, we all run to the vending machine, or we go make coffee, or or you get a soft drink. You're looking for that thing to perk you back up, to get you back going again. And because when I say it's empty calories, it's because many times refined carbs are lacking in essential nutrients. So whole food sources of carbohydrates are loaded with nutrients and fiber, and they don't cause the same spikes and dips in blood sugar levels. Like for myself, on my cheat days, on my cheat day Friday, I can tell when I've had my cheat meal versus I can tell when I've had my regular meal. Because when I've had my regular meals and my snacks, my day flows. But when I have that cheat meal on Friday, I'm full probably at 12 o'clock, and seems like by 12:27, I'm hungry all over again. Okay, excuse me. Okay, maybe not to 12:27, not 12:42. I'm hungry again. And it's not because I wasn't full at the time. It's because whatever meal I had chosen for my cheat meal probably didn't have the nutritional value that I needed. And I'm feeling the effects because my blood sugar is spiking. Now, the problem that comes with this is that when we're looking to lose weight, it becomes, should I totally get off carbs, or should I go to a low carb diet? Now, there are certain diets, for example, the keto diet. One of its tenets of success is that you eliminate all carbs. And by eliminating carbs, your body then burns the ketones that is stored, the fat burning stuff, and then that activates weight loss. So in that school of thought, if you do the keto diet, you do not have any of the carbs because you let your body burn other things. Now, something you need to be aware of, that just because a low carb diet can be useful in weight loss for some, it may not be a cure-all for everyone, because all of our bodies are different. All of our bodies have different needs. All of our bodies have different requirements. And so I'm always leery to tell someone what the best diet is, because I don't know your medical makeup. I don't know your genetics. I don't always know your budget, and I don't know what accesses to food resources that you have, because you may be in a food desert. And by food desert, I mean you may not be in an area that has access to fresh produce and vegetables. So when you're looking at the best diet comes down to what fits your needs, what fits your goals, and what fits your budget. Because there's often this ideology that people say that all carbs are evil and that all carbs will lead to weight gain. And that's not necessarily the truth. Because as I just alluded to, when you're having the whole grain, the whole carbs, the good carbs, and you're structuring a diet that gives you more of the good stuff, your chances of hitting your weight loss goals will grow and you will hit your goal. Carbs, let me scroll down. So when we're looking at making the right choices, it'll come down to trial and error. So if you haven't began to experiment with the foods such as barley, such as quinoa, you may not be familiar with that. So when we're looking at what are better sources of carbs, look at your vegetables. It's best to eat a variety of vegetables. You look at your whole fruits, your apples, bananas, strawberries, and every now and then venture out and try new fruit. That's the only way you're going to discover what you like. When we talk about your legumes, we're talking about your beans, your lentils, your kidney beans, your peas. Always talk about your whole grains, your oats, your quinoa, your brown rice. And don't forget the tubers. And we say tubers, that is potatoes or sweet potatoes. And depending on where you go, many times they're often called rooted vegetables because they have little roots. And so if you go someplace and you go, what's a rooted vegetable? It has a root. So you have to be willing to try something different. Because my thing, as I always tell my clients, as I always tell prospective clients, if you want to get from your now to your next, you have to ask yourself, what is the thing that's you're holding on to? Because if you're really ready to make the change and you want to see the changes, you should not be so wedded to having white bread that you're going to throw away everything that you're working for. Does white bread taste good under some barbecue? Yes. Should you have it every night? No. Maybe factor it in when you have the holiday get together. Memorial Day is coming up. Think about having it for the holiday. Now, Mobile, that's this place called Rogers Barbecue. Hey, Rogers. And what they do is they put the barbecue and then they put the white bread right up underneath it. So all the seasonings and the barbecue is socked up in, y'all heard me say sock because I'm country. You heard it get all socked up and the sauces get all socked up in the white bread. So you want the white bread. But can I eat that every day? No. Can I eat that every week? No. But can I afford to make that a treat and a goal for once a month or whenever I go home? Absolutely. So when you're talking about having the whole carbs, you want the carbs that are minimally processed, that are giving you the things that you need. As I said earlier, that's the stuff that's going to be more filling. That's the stuff that's going to give you the fuel that's going to let your body run properly. Because one of my favorite analogies is that if you told me what your favorite car is, and most times it's European, it's foreign, and it's fast, and it's expensive. And if you have a goal for a car like that, you are not going to put regular gas in it. You will not go and put in that expensive $80,000 to $100,000 vehicle. You are not going to put regular gas in it. Why? Because you know with regular fuel, that dream vehicle is not going to perform at its optimal level. So I submit to you that your health and your wellness is just as valuable as your favorite vehicle. Because for you to run your race and for you to be successful, you cannot run on low grade fuel. You cannot run on the things that's not going to give you what you need. So to avoid the crash at the end of the day, to avoid not being your best or always feeling sluggish, I encourage you to look at minimizing your sugary drinks, minimizing the white bread, minimizing your French fries and potato chips, because those are things that aren't necessarily going to give you the calorie, the nutrition that you need. Because as we talked about earlier, it's the refined carbs that don't necessarily have the nutritional value that you need. Because if every dinner, and when I have my dinner, I can have a plate and my dinner could average 500 calories and have twice as much nutritional value as your 1,500 calorie dinner because I'm picking the right things. I'm picking the lean cuts of protein. I'm picking the vegetables. I'm picking for my snacks. I'm picking fruit. I'm picking the things that are going to sustain me and keep me moving forward. And so when you look at that, my plate and my palate is often colorful. It's often nutritious. So when I have my lean cuts of protein, I have my vegetables, I have my fruits for the day, my body is running as best it can with what I'm doing. Do I have cheat days? Absolutely. Because everyone should have a cheat day because a cheat day has benefits. And we'll probably have to make that a topic one Sunday to talk about, yes, you need a cheat day in your diet. Now, again, every dinner cannot be Thanksgiving or Christmas, but once a week, you should have a cheat meal built in. And we'll talk about it further about what are the benefits of cheat meals because cheat meals are necessary for your diet. Now, just to end the topic for today, carbs are natural. Carbs in their natural fiber-rich form are generally healthy. Processed foods with sugar and refined carbs don't provide the same nutritional benefits as carbs in their natural form. So again, when we talk about your sugars, if you go through the store and you flip the label, and on the back it has an oats on the end, OCE, and you'll see fructose, sucrose. Those are normally that's your key to let you know that's your sugar. Excuse me. So if you see something that says no sugar added, and you flip over the back and it has fructose on the back, that's a sugar. That's the game that some manufacturers play. They will tell you that it's no sugar added, but look on the back and see if it has fructose, corn syrup. So when you're sitting there going, well, it says no sugar, it has fructose, it has sucrose, lactose. No, I think that's one of them. So look for that when you're talking about maintaining your carbs, because carbs, like we said earlier, is not just about bread. It is sugar, it is your starches, and it is your fiber. And remember, when you're looking at your weight loss plan, understand there's no one size fits all program for anyone. So when I meet with my clients and prospective clients, I often have to encourage them to know that there's no one size fits all because it will depend on your age, it will depend on your gender, your physical activity, your food culture, and your personal preference. Because if you're sitting there and you're telling me that you absolutely despise Brussels sprouts, I am not going to recommend Brussels sprouts for your food plan. Because why would I set you up for failure and set myself up for frustration? So if you tell me your personal preference is cauliflower, which I heard somebody call it the albino broccoli, which now I can't unsee that, then we look at those different things. So when you're looking at creating the best diet comes down to the one that will help you reach your goals safely without having severe caloric restriction. That is all I have for this week. Thank you for joining me on our Sunday segment. I look forward to seeing you every one of you each and every week. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.